This is the Rainbow Mafia section of that radical LGBTQ movement that has made women less than and that has elevated all of this transgenderism and all of this pick your gender.
I match the walls. Lol. So I've long been wanting to make a video on transphobia and LGBTQ plus phobia, so here we are. A quick story time. I was on Bumble and I matched with this guy who then asked me for intimacy. Like, he was real quick. We were chatting for the first time and he wanted to booty call me the very next day. So of course I denied, and then I was told this. Okay, so now let's get deep into this. Transgender or queer as something that incites controversy, confusion, tension, and its usage being derogatory where it's used as an insult, like this man here tried to. This patriarchal world that we live in functions on binaries: man, woman, male, female, black, white, and the societal norms here don't give a place to the gray areas to exist. Now, we all know that human beings are very complex, and this system of binaries is too simplified to fit us all in. So then naturally, we have some people who challenge these set in stone norms, and that challenge creates tension. Now, I don't want to come here and spit out some words like a research paper where you don't even get what I'm saying, so we're going to start from the basic. The difference between gender and sex. Sex is your biology. What genitalia do you have? So if you have a penis, then you're given the label of a man, and if you have a vagina, then you're given the label of a woman. Although we do have intersex people, but I'm not getting into that today. Sex indicates whether you're male or female. Gender indicates whether you're masculine or feminine. Now stay pretty focused here because enlightenment is just knocking at the door. Where male or female is about your biology, masculine or feminine is about your gender. Where your sex is natural to you, gender is not. Gender is a societal construct. A man should never cry, should weigh 600 pounds and love sports, while a woman should always be in flower dresses, docile, and be happy in the kitchen. This is gender.
How do you define success?
In my definition of success is across the board. If you're not ripped, if you're not rich, if you ain't rare, if you don't stand out, if you ain't across the board successful, it doesn't mean.
Gender polices one's conduct, how one should act or behave depending on their sex, and this isn't natural. Little boys should play with cars, little girls should play with Barbies, blue is the masculine color, pink is the feminine color, are old rusty rules made by the society that are honestly a malarkey. And so you see the rise of trans women and trans men. Trans. This word comes from the Latin prefix trans, which means on the other side of. Trans women are people who are biologically male, but they align more with their feminine side. And since aligning with their feminine side makes them less of a man or no man at all, they take the label woman. A lot of times, a question that is posed by transphobic to denigrate trans people is, what is a woman?
Sir Keir Starmer, who's leader of the opposition Labour Party here, was talking about protections for women in Parliament today, and yet he refuses to say what a woman is. Where are we with this? How has it come that leaders of parties in countries like the UK, and we see a lot of it in America as well, just won't say what a woman is?
And they say that a woman is an adult female body, and since your body ain't a female one, you are not a woman. To answer this specific question is why I delved into the crash course of gender versus sex. Trans women don't think that they're biologically female. They align more with their feminine side. They want to discard being masculine. They don't want to be the traditional alpha male provider of the house who never cries. They want to be able to put on makeup, wear dresses, enjoy Wattpad, cry, and being nurturing. And since they know they can never deliver on the traditional standards of being a man, they take a label that comes more naturally to them. Another argument that I hear a lot is like people saying like, okay, I would have understood and respected your gender dysphoria had you transitioned. So transitioning is a process of changing one's body. So like I'm a woman, but let's say I want to be a man, then I would go through surgical procedures to get my breast removed, get a prominent Adam's apple, get a deeper voice, and get a penis. That's transitioning. So like a lot of times people say that I would have respected and understood your gender dysphoria had you transitioned, but since your body is still a male one, you cannot be a woman. Or in the case of trans men, since your body is still a female one, you cannot be a man.
You're not lucky enough to be born into the right one, so you transition into the one that you suit
Which
the
seems
most.
to me eminently sensible, and I have complete respect for people that do that. It's not an easy process,
No.
physically, psychologically, emotionally, or any of those things. I salute you for your common sense. Now,
Let's talk about this. There's a lot of debate centering around whether 12-year-olds should go through transitioning or not, because this is the age when puberty typically starts. Because it's easier to change your body if your secondary sexual characteristics have not developed yet. Now, a lot of researchers say that kids become aware of their gender by the age of 4, and so by the age of 12 they know what they're doing. However, a lot of adults have come out who have detransitioned. That is, they went through the process of transitioning and then came back to their original bodies. And they say that they were played by the medical professionals.
When I was 13, I had my first testosterone injection. It's caused permanent changes to my body. My voice will forever be deeper, my jawline sharper, my nose longer, my bone structure permanently masculinized, my Adam's apple more prominent, my fertility unknown. I look in the mirror sometimes and I feel like a monster.
They did not have gender dysphoria, they did not think they were born in the wrong bodies, they did not hate their bodies, they were just having troubles navigating through puberty. And all they needed was some counseling and compassion, but all this gender rhetoric, it influenced them and ruined their lives. So you see, transitioning is a turbulent topic. Not to mention that the puberty blockers in the hormone therapy pose some dangers too. Puberty blockers are medicines that stall one's puberty, and doctors are unsure of stalling puberty for a long time at an age when children normally go through it. And the hormones that are blocked by these puberty blockers, estrogen and testosterone, they play a vital role in your neurological development and bone development. Hormone therapy, that is taking cross hormones. So I'm a woman, and like if I want to be a man, I would take testosterone injections. This taking of cross hormones can cause you infertility, it can increase your chances of cancer and diabetes. And not to mention that gender affirming care is damn expensive, and it's inaccessible and unaffordable to thousands of people out there. So to say that I don't respect your position as a transgender because you haven't transitioned is again a malarkey. And honestly, I find it quite obnoxious to politicize a person's gender identity and sexuality and then attacking it. It's their journey of exploration and personal discovery and finding out what works for them on an individual level. And if that is something that's bugging you, find something better to do with your life. And I do acknowledge that sometimes kids with gender dysphoria are lumped with kids who don't conform to their gender. What I mean by this, I'm talking about your neighborhood girl who was a tomboy when she was a kid, but as an adult, she is a happy woman. And sometimes these kids are misdiagnosed with gender dysphoria, and then they're made to go through transitioning, which then ruins them because that is not what they wanted. So I do acknowledge these massive irreversible failures on the part of doctors, but other than that, trans people are doing nothing to you. They're just trying to live their life happily, normally, feeling comfortable in their skin like any of us. And so to end my video, I'm going to reference my another video to sum this up. They hate trans women because they align more with their feminine side. Have you ever thought that all this transphobia and hatred for gay men that you possess would have never existed had you been open-minded? If patriarchy never defined what it meant to be a man or a woman, we never would have required labels like trans women or gay men. People could just be however way they wanted to be.